I don't see why not. Oh, I'm on the thing. I forgot to say deconverted man here. Whatever. So you all remember reformed Riley? Can't even say his name anymore. And I took some hits. I took some hits during that conversation from my own chat and other people annoyed, irritated at me. Okay, I like to talk. I gotta rein that in better. I gotta say like short and simple bursts of truth. I think that was. It's hard to know because people just say you're irritating, and it's like, well, that doesn't tell me anything. It's like it's not constructive criticism. So, anyways, so to recap, this is his position.
What you have to say?
This is real.
I disagree.
That's real. So he disagreed that the stuffed lobster is real, which now, if you don't know, the lobsterist says that lobsters exist. And if you deny any lobsters, you are evil, according to the lobsters, but especially stuffed lobsters. Now, that might not actually be said in the lobsters. I don't know. It's been a while since I've read it, but pretty sure that's evil. I should have gone lobsterist style on him the minute he brought up Precept. At least that would have made the video funny. Oh, well, I didn't do that. Anyways, so he's got some of the debate that we had. Debate that we had. Now he's got me doing it. Wasn't a debate at all. Wasn't meant to be a debate at all. He wanted a debate. I said, here's the rules for the debate. Didn't like those rules. Could have asked for a rewrite of the rules. Didn't, I said, look, I just want to talk. I want to understand you. You to understand me. It's an information exchange dialogue. But he didn't want to do that. He went right into Precept, and I just don't do that. I don't do Precept. So I cut him off, and I told him he wasn't allowed to do that. And then he did it several more times. So we can't have a discussion if your view is the only real view of reality. Then there's no point in talking to anybody at all. You're always going to be right, and everyone's always going to be wrong. And so I wrote a blog post on it. And, I've talked about Precept here and there again. And people don't get why it's wrong. I guess some people don't understand it. This guy, Riley, said, I've never heard a good refutation of tag. You're the man, DM. 290s. I don't care. I'm freaking old. I'm 46, so I was 1978. I was born in that year, so good year. But I don't know. Anyways, what was I saying? Robin Laws. Hi, Robin. Robin, Mighty, Filbert. Robin, you had said, yeah, let them talk. And I was like, yeah. Well, now I read it after the fact. So I got to try to rein myself in more. I appreciate the constructive criticisms I got, from you guys, gals, robots, etc. Because now I don't know, and was I too hard on them? I don't, it's hard to know. But hey, look, all I can do is moving forward is not make the same mistake again. I'll make new mistakes. But yeah, I already reached out to the other theist that I'm going to have a talk with, I hope, and asked him if he was Precept or did Precept, and he said he doesn't, and he instructs people to not do it. And so I was like, I'm really glad to hear that, because I just don't have it in me to talk to presuppositionalists. I have, and it's no fun. And the last time I did was with this guy. You might have heard of him. He floats around. made by Jim Bob. Jim Bob is a bully. He pretends to be a Christian, but he's just a bully. And I responded to his video. He then did a live response to my response. And after insulting me brutally and such, he brought me into his channel, which usually I don't go on other people's channels. I make them come on mine. But I did. And, I got mad. And I apologized when I got mad to him because, I knew that my anger was getting to me. Then I also, said ridiculous stuff at him and all that. And I don't know how well I handled that conversation, But then I made 2 more videos about Jim Bob, and then I was done with him because he is a bully and I don't want to deal with bullies. But it has been, from my subjective, limited experience of dealing with precepts, and there was another talk I had with a different theist where it was an interview. I don't know that if that's in my talks with theist playlist or not. It might not be in there. I'm not sure because I have too many videos. I try to put them all into the correct playlist, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. But at any rate, I had an interview with a guy that became or decided he was going to do precept. And I was like, well, why would you do that? Whatever. And during the talk, he switched on his precept mode and he sounded like a completely different person. He had this fake talk that sounded whiny and irritating and what, how do you know that? How do you know that? And it's just it became this jerk of a person. I was like, what? And then after we were done talking live, I was like, I was asking him questions. I was just trying to get, your answers. And then he starts doing the precept thing. And I'm like, okay, we're done talking, And hopefully he sees that guy realize that precept is a conversation ender. It doesn't win the debate. It doesn't win anything. But what I was going to say is that from my subjective view with limited data points, that it seems like precept people are jerks or bullies or annoying deliberately. Now, that doesn't matter in regards to the argument of precept itself. And in fact, I took to task an atheist a while back who made a video against the precept atheist that's out there, Breakfast Tacos. And I regretted how I handled that too, And hey, look, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not going to handle things the way that maybe you would or think I should or whatever. And, it's like, I did the best I could in the moment. And, later on I regret, how I handled it or whatever. And, you just go, well, I'll try to do better moving forward, But anyways, so I'm not afraid of being wrong. I'm okay with being wrong, and I'm okay with being portrayed as an asshole or jerk or whatever. Because, hey, I can be. Yeah, absolutely. It's, that's fine. Anyways, let's read some comments. Yeah. Now he wrote, atheists refuse to answer my simple questions. We never actually got to your quote unquote simple questions because you decided to do precept. I would have loved to talk to him. I had several web pages and they're all in the description of my video. We were going to talk about his video that he made about God. And, I spent a lot of time trying to explain to him atheism by itself isn't a worldview. And he couldn't even agree to that, not really. And that's when the precept started. At the moment he was losing ground in that I was saying what was real and true, he brought in the precept. So I think that he did that because he was losing ground, because it was being revealed that atheism theism by them. That's not a world. Neither one is a worldview. He didn't want to accept that reality. And his version of what worldview means was so low volume, what do you call it? Resolution. That's the word. Is like, it's a view of the world. Okay, so you just said your worldview is a view of the world. What does that mean? It's not, and you go to the philosophical dictionary and you look up worldview, and it's very, it's complicated. But basically, you could summarize it as a view that encompasses morality, the origins of the universe, the origins of humans, the final destination of humans, purpose, meaning, value, etc. It covers a lot of aspects of reality. And that version of the word worldview, neither the word theist nor the word atheist is a worldview, nor is Democrat or Republican or, those aren't worldviews either. Christian is a worldview, but we don't know what that worldview is because there's different versions of Christian out there. So even somebody says, well, I'm not going to say in your Christian worldview X, Y, and Z is true because I don't know that that's the case. And he immediately went into in your worldview, you can't justify truth. And it's like, okay, well, we're done. We can't talk. And then I said, look, I'm pretty sure I said, if we can't agree that lobsters exist, we can't talk. And then I hold up my stuffed lobster and go, this exists. And he says, I disagree. We're done. We can't talk. He literally did the same thing that I said. Anyways. So there's comments. I read through them already. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take the hit, And so I thought I'd read them off and respond to them because I don't know. Why not? Yes, thank you, Captive Desk. What's that? Oh, yeah. Jim Bob, well, I think he's been a bully to too many people but that's subjective. If you want to interact with them, of course you're free to. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to tell people who to talk to or not to talk to. Anyway, so Fred starts out, I agreed to discussion but wasn't willing to hear challenges. Well, there's no challenge being made if you just say you're right and everybody else is wrong. If my worldview is correct, and in my worldview it says it's correct, and my worldview is the only one that can be correct, oh, you're not part of my worldview? Well, then you're wrong. So that's it. We're done. So there's no challenge there. There's nothing there. And then he just quotes Proverbs or First Peter. This guy says, if there's a God, it ain't Jesus. Yeah, I mean, Jesus wasn't God and never claims to be God, although later on they tried to make it seem like Jesus is claiming to be God. But I don't care even if Jesus did claim to be God. And I don't really know if Jesus existed. I mean, they're really the only sources for Jesus' existence is the Bible. And then people later on saying that people believed in Jesus, which isn't proof that Jesus himself existed. And the fact that everything in the Bible about him is legendary status. He's doing things that people can't do. I understand he's doing miracles because he's trying to prove he's God, but then that automatically turns Jesus into a mythical figure. So, I bet if religious rally were actually to make a case for his God belief rather than belief in the God of philosophy, you've been much more receptive to an argument. Maybe so. I mean, we didn't even get to Riley's version of God or anything because he went full precept. You never go full precept. You never go precept at all. Riley's argument isn't for God of the Bible. It's not even for any God, actually. It's just asserting that he is right and nobody else is. And, I'm complaining. So here comes Nimbo. Atheism is not a worldview. correct. That's what I said in our talk. It's a rejection of a silly claim. Well, I wouldn't call God a silly claim, but I'd just say it's rejection of the claim of God. Evolution is a fact and really boring to discuss with a science denier. I agree. That's why if he wanted to debate, I outlined that we would assume that these things were true. We would act as if they were true. Now, he didn't like that because he doesn't agree with abiogenesis, which is okay. But you could have said, for this debate, I'm acting as if abiogenesis is true, but I don't really believe it. And then make it a compelling case for God despite those handicaps, if you will. He could have asked that to be changed, but he didn't do any of those things. He just considered them commandments or whatever. It's really weird. But anyways, atheism as a worldview is simply being unconvinced of supernatural, unconvinced that any gods exist. Well, I suppose many atheists are unconvinced by the supernatural, but the technical definition of atheist is only related to God. You could hypothetically believe in the supernatural and still be an atheist as long as the supernatural didn't include God. The only thing that makes you an atheist is saying no to God. Whether that no is a no, there is no God, or no, I don't believe in God. You can believe in anything else as long as it's not God. You can believe in Satan and hell and angels and heaven. As long as there's not a God, you'd still be an atheist, technically speaking. To be fair, these are the same morons who think an invisible man lives up in the sky and uses magic to create the earth. I mean, that is one view of God, Running through the tired precept script is like running through flat earther script. I completely got why this guy had better things to do. Thank you. You made the argument that truth and morality need a foundation like Christianity, which is not an objective standard of viewing the world. Correct. We both have to have a position that we can say is true, whether there is or isn't a God, and then work from there to establish if there is or isn't a God. But he just says, no, I'm the only one right because my God exists, and if my God doesn't exist, then truth doesn't matter. Truth isn't real. And he denied my stuffed lobster. How dare he? This guy, Straw and Steel, respects the atheist for abandoning ship. Precept is pretty lame. I think it's okay to let theists think they win with precept thing and just don't interact with them. Well, yeah, that's going to be my strategy moving forward. It's just not to talk to precepts. Captive Desk had his fill of Jim Bob. Yeah. I mean, I don't even like to say the guy's name, but yeah. But hey, if you can get along with the guy, more power to you. Maybe you can actually get him to stop being a bully. I don't know. I have all the facts and I don't show any work attitude is very frustrating. I agree. That's precept at its core. I know you are, but what am I of the debate world? Exactly. It isn't even really a debate, though. That's the other problem. Because you are just saying that you are right and nobody else is even able to be right. And I mentioned I have a blog post on this. Maybe I'll read that off. I mean, you can read it yourself. I don't know. Whatever. I'll go through a few more of these comments. Logic and reason are necessarily presuppositions. God is not. Yes, logic and reason are necessary, but I wouldn't call them presuppositions per se. But that's just me. But I don't know. Whatever. Nothing that exists came into existence for nothing. Therefore, logic and reason had a beginning. What? And I said, humans made them. Humans made logic and reason. So yeah, I guess. Thanks for playing. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. The atheist does several things wrong here, but the refusal to debate against presupposition is spot on. I accept the input. I don't know what I did wrong, but I mean, because some of you guys, I think Robin mostly said, let him talk. because I like to talk, you know. But hey, you know, I get it. I gotta, you know, reel that back when I have somebody to talk to. I think I did decent with my brother earlier today. If you didn't listen to that, please go check it out because we talk about his book called Unapologetic, and there's more words there, but the main title of the book is Unapologetic, and I think I let him say an equal amount of stuff to me. I hope. Anyways, so yeah, buy that book. This is so bad. Bro would get cooked by any educated atheist. Oh, I guess I'm not educated. Well, sucks to be me. Well, his etiquette is lackluster. Oh, my ego. His frustration is understandable because he knows the precept apologetic script is incoming. And doing it in a polite and patient manner doesn't make it less nonsensical. Okay, I mean, yeah, I'll take the hit. And then he said, "Tell me how he isn't using precept. I'm not using precept because I'm not pre-assuming anything that I don't have. Like I except for reality, I suppose." I pre-assume that the lobsters exist. I guess that's my precept. I don't know. It's weird. But this is kind of a too cute quit. It's like, well, he's doing it too, so it's okay for me to do it. Like, no, it's not okay for anybody to do it. I just got here. What's the Reformed rally? Well, you didn't see all my videos on this guy already? Oh man, you got to go back in the Deconverted Man archives and you know, look at my video where we had a talk until we didn't, and then before what led up to all that. You know, Pete. There's some major Riley. I think I made a playlist for it. Not sure now. Anyways, yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, right. Oh, the stuff. Stop being disingenuous. The critique isn't about having presuppositions. It's about how they're treated. Yeah. So precept apologetics is dogmatic and closed. Well, he's saying it's not all presuppositions are dogmatic or closed. In science, philosophy, everyday reasoning, we test our assumptions, we revise them when evidence or argument gives us reason to. That's not the same as precept apologetics, which is closed and circular. This guy gets it. And I said, you know, to the guy, okay, Emmanuel Tomes says, oh, my ego. DM was pretty annoying and sloppy in this exchange. Ooh, my ego. Lego, my ego. But precept's also nonsense and totally unserious. If you're going to try your hand at apologetics, I think you should try a more intellectually rigorous approach. And the last line about the fruits of atheism really makes you sound petty and uneducated. I've seen plenty of Christians crash out just like DM and worse. I've never believed it to be the fruit of theism. That's silly. And I said, Anyways, Deconverted Man was right. Yay! I love this person has one 1848. Christians love to say, because he said I was right. That's you know, then I love you when you tell me I'm right. Christians love to say, atheists, you don't have any basis for truth claims and morals, when Christians use that precept argument and base their morality and truth off the Bible. You need to show the Bible and the claims of the Bible are true before you can use this argument. Have you shown the Bible is true? Show me the Bible is true, or as I, as an atheist, will tell you, your grounding for morals and truth are completely subjective and based on a book that has zero evidence behind it. Presuppositional apologetics are the worst, and I agree, they are. But if you could demonstrate that the Bible was true, you don't need to then say, your worldview this, your worldview that. You don't need to say anything about anybody's worldview if you can just demonstrate that your own ideas or view of the world or whatever is true. You don't need to tell somebody else your worldview X. Nobody likes that. That's what makes it so abrasive. You're wrong about this idea. how do you know that I'm wrong about this idea? You don't even know what my position is. And I said to him, I don't even know what my worldview is. So how can you know what my worldview is? Well, it's not Christian, so therefore it's wrong. Oh, okay. Cool. Anyone can do that. Anyone can play that game, and it's not a fun game to play. And it is just, and so I like that. Anyways, Appeal to the Stoned said, you don't have a basis, you have presupposition. The most you can make out of your argument is no one has any basis and only presuppositions. That's not justification for believing in things that are not unevidenced, which is where your worldview lies. Presupposition and the belief in things that are not evidence, that's why your worldview fails. Well, possibly so. We never really got to hear Riley's worldview or how it works, but if he is basing it on the notion that it is true and it is the only thing that can produce truth, then his worldview is circular and illogical. And so there might be more to that worldview, but we, based on just that wouldn't be enough for a worldview, but based on just that, then you don't have logic. And you kind of need logic, everyone presupposes something. It's just some more than others. Yeah. So the problem is, yes, the word presup gets thrown around, and presuppositionalist apologetics takes advantage of this and says, well, everybody does presup. No, not the way that you guys are doing it. And then they turn it into, their version. It's like, no, not everybody, I guess I presuppose reality. I guess we all do, hopefully, unless you're this guy who denied that stuffed lobster exists, right? So, but are we really presupposing reality, or is it that we're accepting what our sensory inputs tell us is correct? Do we have a choice but to accept reality? I don't think we do. Not really. If you do, you're kind of wonky, I suppose you can, but I don't know that you can live denying reality, I suppose, So do we presuppose the laws of logic? I don't think that that's really a presupposition either, because we go, these things have to be true. They're axioms. They're not presuppositions. You don't preassume them. You just say these things have to be for other things to be. And this is how things are, And there's certain things like that it's like, this is just how reality functions. We think. We could be wrong, but, then we would need some reason to think that we were wrong. But you can't do that in presuppositionalism because you're just always right. So this guy says, X is a necessary condition of Y. Y exists, therefore X. That's the argument Riley is making. Not really. It's valid in form. Plug in for X in any transcendental category for Y. Well, it is valid in form. I will grant that. But it is not sound, which is what matters. An argument can be valid all you want, all day long. What matters is the argument being sound. He said, plug in leprechauns for X and luck for Y. Yeah. Leprechauns are a necessary condition of luck. Luck exists, therefore leprechauns exist. Now it's not sound, is it? So it's still valid, but it is no longer sound. And that's what he doesn't get. And he says, it's valid, but you haven't shown that it's a sound. And I like this guy. Juno too. He gets it, look here, when you fill out the argument, properly avoid equivocations. God is the necessary condition of God-given transcendental X. God-given transcendental X exists, therefore X exists. Right. It's circular. It argues for what it's trying to do. You haven't shown that P2 is a sound premise. You presuppose that it is that, and you don't demonstrate, right? You can plug in anything and it's still valid. Yeah, but it's not sound. That's the problem. And I showed him, I said, Pre-1, my worldview being true is a necessary condition of truth to be true. Truth exists. Therefore, my worldview is correct. It's not sound, is it? So, Looks like people are eager to learn here. Oh God. Okay, I think this will be the last comment I read. There's more. You guys get those. You can all read it yourselves if you want. I don't know if this is entertaining or not, but I wanted to show that hey, I can take a hit. I'm a big man. It's fine. I don't mind being told I'm wrong. Or mean or whatever the words were. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not upset by it. Anyways, sorry. Somebody's cutting onions here or something. I don't know. Nobody's favorite brand of gods has ever been proven to exist. Claims about God are childish. Claims about gods are dangerous. Well, there's a problem here because two would make one childish. So you're claiming this about God, and then you're saying that that's childish, which would then make your first claim childish. And also you're saying that it's dangerous. So this is now a childish and dangerous claim to make. So I think that I would avoid poisoning the well because you're making your first claim impossible by doing that. I should put that as a comment response, but I'm not going to. Yeah, anyways, okay. I think that's it. Oh, I should watch the video itself, I guess, to see if he does anything in this video that's worth discussing or talking about. Should we watch it together, everybody? Or like, my worldview is that photo from the Apollo 11 mission. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll play it, and if you don't want to hear, you can come. Well, let's see. Let's see if he does. Oh, look. See, he got me, and then he talks. Okay, so, yeah. Okay, let's do it then.
The Bible actually calls me to do that.
Drop the precept now. Do you understand? Yeah, I was a little bit harsh there. I can hear that. But I was also like, I'm not dealing with this, so we'll just pretend like that didn't happen. Yeah. Respectfully.
Do
you understand?
Respectfully,
you are going to drop the precept.
All right. So I just finished up a debate with a.
It wasn't a debate. It wasn't a debate. It was an information exchange dialogue. It wasn't meant to be a debate. He wanted a debate so badly, I guess. But he didn't want to.
A guy called Deconverted Man on YouTube. And the reason we got into this debate was because I created a video called 7.5 Reasons Why God Must Exist, and he reacted to it. So I commented, I said, would you be willing to discuss this or debate this with me? He said yes. So over email, we decided a date and a time to discuss, and we opted for an informal discussion because if we were going to do a formal discussion, he said that it would have to be under his rules. And I'll just show you, if you read the second last paragraph here, he says that if we're going to do it this way, we must treat abiogenesis and macroevolution as a fact.
Oh no, how terrible. Oh, isn't that awful of me? That's just unfair. That's an unfair set of rules, right, people?
Which would completely be contrary to my worldview.
Aw, I guess you don't live in reality then. So you don't, but why should evolution and abiogenesis be against your worldview? But again, he could have said, I don't like that rule set. Can we change it? Are you flexible? He could have, but, anyways, he wants to complain about whatever.
That's like if I said, you know what, if we're going to debate, we're going to treat the resurrection as true. It's dishonest.
I'll do it. I'm glad to do it. I'll take on that challenge. We'll treat the resurrection as true, and we'll have a debate using that format. Sure, why not? And then I'll make an argument that Jesus is just a Wolverine. There you go. So, it's not hard to do stuff like that, but Jesus' resurrection is nothing like evolution or abiogenesis. So,
honest. It's not fair. So I said,
Not
okay,
fair.
let's just stick with the informal discussion. So I tried to live stream the debate on my channel, and it went horribly wrong. Don't do what I did. Don't think that you're prepared without actually knowing you're prepared. I apologize to Deconverted Man for wasting 10 minutes of his time to try to...
That, I didn't mind. It didn't bother me. He was trying to figure out like OBS or whatever and get it to stream on his channel. That was fine. I was okay with that.
set up my live stream, and the live stream didn't even work. Thankfully, I was able to just record it, and I had a lot planned that I wanted to question him on. I was ready to give my defense for why I believe in the resurrection and why I believe...
Yeah, but then you had to go precept, didn't you?
In God, whatever he wanted to ask me. And it really didn't seem like he was there to do that. Even though...
Well, I was, but you decided to do precept, and then we couldn't have a discussion.
Oh, at the beginning, you'll see him say that he's there to discuss truth. It really didn't seem like it. He didn't let me get my points across. He shut them down immediately because he simply couldn't answer them. So...
Well, no, I could have answered anything, but you went precept, and I told you to not do that, and then you did it again and again and again, and that was the end of that.
Without further ado, here it is.
All right. So then he's just going to play my bit. Okay, so we can skip that because we've all seen that, or if you haven't seen that, you can see it. He's got some text here. I wonder what he's putting here. This is not the fullness of what happened. I'll call them out so we can do the video for screenshots. Whatever. He's still complaining about the debate setup. Goodness gracious, man. He had some other text here. I wanted to see what that was. Where was it? Oh, here. Did he include this? It's real. So it is real that I have a stuffed lobster here. And that is the same no matter what. Now, if you're talking about hard soft lips, so yeah. So, then, I say lobsters exist. If you and I cannot agree that lobsters exist, we cannot have a conversation. So we cannot have a conversation if we cannot agree that lobsters exist. It's just not possible because we no longer share reality. So look what he wrote here. He wrote, why can't we have a conversation if we don't agree on the existence of something? Because the something is so evidently true that disagreeing with it would be nonsense. Lobsters do exist. Are you denying the existence of lobsters? Are you that far gone? Are you really that far gone? The whole reason we're conversing is because I believe in the existence of God, and he does not fully affirm that. No, I affirm that you believe in the existence of God. Yeah, obviously. We can talk about God's existence. But unlike the lobster that can be demonstrably demonstrated, there isn't anything for you to hold up and say, this is God. You can't show God like you can show lobsters. Everyone knows what a lobster is. It's definable. It's tangible. It's testable. It's real. And nobody except you would deny that it's real. Anyway, so what else did he have in the little text? Anything interesting pop up there? Let's see. Check beginning of video. Let's see. Did he include where he denies lobster? Come on, please do that. He's now laying out ground rules we never agreed upon because he doesn't like the way I do apologetics. Yeah, I don't want precept. So, I didn't think about that. Honestly, I didn't think about precept when I asked to talk to Riley. I didn't think that he was one of those people. I didn't consider that to be an option, and that's on me. My bad. Moving forward, I'm going to make sure that nobody ever does precept with me again. I don't want to deal with it. If you want to deal with it, go ahead. You've got power. You've got your own autonomy. You've got your own channels. You can deal with precept all you want. Have somebody else do it. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't. There's nothing there. And, so anyways, what else? He tells me I'm wrong. We should all believe him. Seems like a presuppositional argument to me. Wait, what? Okay. What? Now you said I have a worldview. Then you said you didn't know what it was. So you also said atheists have a worldview. What is the atheism worldview?
It's the denial of the existence of any God.
Wrong. That is wrong. It's not presuppositional to tell you that you're wrong when you're wrong about the word atheist. This guy is just what is Come on, include the lobster bit. What's this? I didn't listen to your answer. Let's see. With the word atheist, correct?
Sure, outside of context, okay. Isolated by itself, a word cannot entail things unless put into context.
There is no atheist worldview. There is no agnostic worldview.
I would disagree with that.
It still makes no sense why he would disagree with that. Somebody help me in the comments, in the chat here. Somebody explain why theists cannot accept that atheism is not a worldview. It's not hard. It's like, what? I don't get it. Anyways, whatever. So did he include the lobster bit? Please tell me he did the lobster bit. Whatever. I don't know. What's this? What? Let's see.
Don't assume a worldview. When you make truth claims, what standard of truth do you appeal to?
Strike two. When you make truth claims, what standard do you appeal to? Reality. I had already explained that. That's why this is strike two. Because it's just him doing pre-sup again.
Are we not allowed to discuss? Do I have to just listen to what you have to say?
This is real.
I disagree.
I don't actually disagree here. Yes, you do. You said you disagree. So let your yes be yes, your no be no. I'm glad he included it. He does disagree that the lobster exists. You can't now say that you don't actually disagree when you did. So no, that's not presuppositional apologetics to say that the lobster is real. Riley, you failed. What else does he say? And then does he have anything? Okay, yeah, he has a little bit at the end here.
Oh.
So long.
And there you have it. That's how it ended. So because he didn't like my line of argumentation, he kicked me out.
Yep.
And again, we did not come with a set of rules and regulations.
Yeah, well, my bad. From now on, no pre-sup.
Out of this discussion that I had to follow, but that's okay. It just goes to show what the true fruits of atheism are.
What an ass. Okay, so that's how you want to send it, and I gotta say ass there. Yeah, so what the fruits of atheism are, which is what? That we don't like pre-sup? Is that the fruits of atheism? Okay, cool, I guess. I mean... Oh, how pathetic. But, I'm glad he put the thing on his channel. Then people can see him deny reality in real time, even though he puts, I didn't really disagree. You can't say that you disagree with something and mean, oh, well, but that's not really what I meant. You can't do that. You got it. The Bible, even the Bible, this guy's showing that he doesn't care about the Bible. And I forget where it is, but let your yes be yes, your no be no. So he's deceiving us when he says that he disagrees with the existence of the stuffed lobster. So he's going against his own religion at that point. So why are we interested in anything he does now? I don't know. Very dishonest in full. You're not interested in reality, not interested in a conversation, just interested in being right. All right, so that's that, I guess. Did chat die, or I haven't seen anything in chat in a while? Is it still alive? Am I still alive? I don't know. Okay, yes, I am. Okay, just making sure. Here's my little blog post on it. I guess I'll, I mean, why not? Whatever. I called it Presup, You Are Stuck. Imagine that you, and only you, have access to the true nature of reality. No one else does. No one else can. Just you, and you alone, and you know it. You know it because you felt it one day. Pop! Okay, I guess you just know now. So I tell everyone, hey, look! Unless you agree with me, you are wrong. Yeah! You're wrong about everything unless I'm right. Because I know how reality really works for real. Then they do the unexpected. They ask for proof. You laugh. Of course I know the true nature of reality. Because I know it. And you can't know with your view of reality because, in fact, your view of reality is wrong, and it always was wrong, and will always be wrong, and I will always be right. Okay, enough of that. Let's step into reality again, because you don't have to imagine it. People act that way, and they're known as presuppositionalists, and they think that their worldview is right and yours is wrong. They don't need to know your worldview, by the way, because they have the right one. Do they need proof? No. Do they need evidence? No. Test? Nah. Logic? Screw it. You can only be right if you have the thing that lets you be right. And that's the thing that they have. Yay! Utter nonsense. For whatever reason, on top of all that rubbish, and this is just my observation based on limited data, but every single presup I've encountered is a total jerk once they start doing the presup. The behavior changes, they put on an annoying voice sometimes, and they ask you the same question over and over again. They act arrogant. They are bullies. I'm done with them. Not going to talk to them. If and when I find out someone is a presup, I'm out. I'm not engaging with them. Someone else can deal with it. I'm done. Why? Because there's no logic there. There's nothing there. It's a black hole. It's heads I win, tails you lose. And, oh, by the way, even if we don't play, I won. It's not about reality. It's about feeling like you won. And then they accuse you of doing everything they're doing. It's amazing. It's baffling. It's just not what I'm here for, you know? Do they think it works? I don't know, but it's annoying for sure. Sure, it's circular. Yep. It's nonsense. It doesn't matter. It's precept. You're stuck. Your script is your God. You can't do anything unique. You just say your worldview is wrong all the time. That's it. You're not human anymore. You're a bot, and not a very good one. No thanks. I'll pass. All right. So that's it. Still here, DM. Thank you, Captain Desk. So hopefully you enjoyed any of this. I don't know. Again, I sincerely appreciate your constructive criticism of me. Many of you offered that, but I want to kind of highlight Robin most of all because she did say I needed to let him talk, and unfortunately I didn't see that during our talk. I saw it later on because I was ignoring chat. And I do take that into deep consideration. I have to when talking to somebody else, I need to have some sort of timer or something, so I don't so maybe I'll do 10-minute chunks or something like that. Maybe 5 minutes or something, so that I let them say what they need to say or want to say, and so I appreciate the constructive criticism. So thank you all for that. Anyways, and I know I can be, annoying or angry or whatever. And, hopefully I'll, not be that way. Hopefully I'll do better next time. And, I can't promise anything, but, I'm here for logic and I'm here for reason. And I'm here to encourage all of us to learn informal logic, and I'm also here to try to challenge everyone, including myself, to do the best we can and be the best human we can, and to recognize that our brain is just as susceptible to weird ideas as anyone else's, and to not get comfortable, to always be skeptical and questioning and probing and seeking and asking and trying to verify. You don't get anywhere by saying this is true and that's it. You need some justification for you think, oh, Pete says you watched the whole thing yesterday. Oh, okay, Pete. I didn't know that you did. Not your fault. Okay. You let him talk enough. He kept dodging my questions. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate it. I mean, because everyone's going to have a different view of like how somebody performed or whatever. And that, it's art, right? I guess. I don't know. But I'll try to do better, and hopefully I will. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for comments that you guys, girls and robots, give me. Feedback, always appreciated. Keep me on my toes. And that's it for now. And I guess, we'll just say lobsters exist. And if we can't agree with that, then we really can't have a discussion. In other words, basically, that's my version of reality is real. Can we agree that reality is real? And if not, then how can we talk? Now, I guess he wants to say, well, God is real. Can we agree that? And I'm like, well, I mean, God might be real. I don't know. It's different than reality. The thing is, it's very different because I can't see, test, measure God. I can't, I don't know what God, you're the one saying that there's a God. It's not like reality. It's different than reality. It's so there is a difference. And I suppose that's frustrating. But, listen to the conversation I had earlier today with my brother who has faith in God. And it's like, yeah, I get that. I understand that. And I think it's an amazing and interesting thing that people can do is believe in stuff. And as long as they understand that it's a belief, then they can be reasonable in their arguments. Or not even do an argument because your only statement would be one of faith and wouldn't be an argument. Because you don't have any burden. You just say, I have this faith. And here's more about it, and there you go, and that's it. And I find that to be more welcoming and inviting than, the typical apologetic stuff that we hear. And when it comes to precept, that's a big no for me. So thanks, everyone. All right, until next time, be skeptical. Oh, Objective Ethics. Hello. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you, Objective. It's fine. I can take the criticism. It's okay. I appreciate you, though. Okay, until next time, be skeptical. And after next time, stay skeptical. And now I'm going to go eat food later. No, not later. I'm going to eat food now. Later to all of you. All right.